A bunch of people have asked me to look into the dual citizenship thing, in response to that
Oh,
last video that came out, which I haven't done yet. I didn't have time to do a breakdown, but I was able to find this, and, I thought this would work as well, especially being that it's from, the CBC, so state media. So I think that this list is probably 5 years old, but at least it's, people can't really judge it. So this is an older article from December 10th. So yeah, about 5 years ago.
well, I don't see why they name it as dual citizenship. I don't think that's the problem in people's minds, is it? I mean, I don't give a shit if you're a citizen somewhere else as well. It's that you were
Well,
born somewhere and you came here to
arguably,
get our
no,
citizenship.
there's a bunch of people that think that there sort of seems to be two camps. There's a bunch of people that are more up in arms about dual citizenship. And they're saying, well, if you came here and you gave up your old country citizenship
Well,
and
that
you're
that's
kind
what
of
that's what
all
I
in
mean.
with Canada, they might be okay with it. But if you're a
So,
dual citizen, then how do we know which fucking place you're
well, what
which
about okay?
are
So,
you
what about
more?
me? I'm a citizen of the UK because my mom was born there, right?
So I would argue that if you want to be in Canadian government, you should have to give up that thing because and I mean I know you
No,
obviously,
but
but
I was born here. I mean, that's where I would draw the difference, right? If I was born here and I went out and got a citizenship somewhere else because of my parents' birth or whatever, then that's fine. Like it's the people. This is where I would
nah,
say,
I don't want to get into going. No, that's too complicated now to try and distinguish who's who. It's just no. You just gotta get rid of it. You just can't be a citizen of there anymore. I mean, if you're that dedicated to Canada that you want to be in charge of running this fucking place, it should be not a big deal. I mean, what's the difference? What's the difference if you're all a citizen?
because when Canada collapses, these people want somewhere to go.
Okay, well then you shouldn't be in the government. Then you're hedging your bets. You shouldn't.
Yeah, no, I
So
see
my
that would be
argument would be
the yeah.
so there's like a thing at each side where other people were saying, well, if they weren't born here, fine, but they better not be a citizen of someplace else still.
Well, no,
So
but see,
anyway,
that's not that. I mean, that doesn't make sense, right? That to me,
I
it's
can see the
where
side of
you're
it.
born means more than where you went later on in life. I mean,
Maybe to some people, to others, maybe not.
like what's the big deal if you give up your passport somewhere? The fact is, you came here from there to get into politics, right? It doesn't matter if you have a passport; you can still be influenced by the powers that be over there.
So
Having a
just give up the
citizenship
passport.
means nothing. It's just a piece of paper. It's your history and your
No,
heritage that
I
you
would not
bring.
agree. I don't care. I don't want to have to look into your history and your heritage. It's just a
But
no-brainer. It's
you
just that
should.
if you're either a Canadian
That's what's
citizen,
important.
if you want to be in the government of Canada, you're either a Canadian citizen
No,
only
you're born here. You were
or
born
you're
here.
not in the government.
You were born here. That's where I would go with it.
It should be both.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
It should be both.
That's fine with me.
I'm not trying to let the people that weren't born here in by not letting you in. You know what I mean? I don't want them in either. But I would say if you want to be the prime minister, I can't be wondering if you're more loyal to the UK because you're doing high level negotiations and signing trade agreements with the fucking UK.
Yeah, that's fine. I if I was born here, then I would give it up.
You were born here.
That's what I
Well,
mean.
I'm not going to bother getting into why this happened. Actually, I think I will. So, Australia fucking stripped a bunch of senators of their thing because they were dual citizens, which is what prompted this story.
Are senators the same as our senators?
I don't know, but anyway, this is like I said, this is on the CBC. So this is in Canada. So as of 2017, I'm sure it's just as bad or worse now. The senators haven't changed. If anything, they've just been added to. So as of this writing, which was at the start of 2018, there were at least 56 sitting parliamentarians, 44 MPs, and 12 senators born in countries outside Canada. Oh, this is born in countries outside Canada. So that's more than my list. So this is actually going to be an amalgamation of both. So this is more than my list. So, dude, I didn't even check the senators.
No, your
How
list
many
was
senators does
no,
Canada have?
your list was way more than 44, wasn't it? I thought it
No, I
was.
think it was about that. I think it was about that.
Hmm.
I think
I
it
don't
was
think we
there.
have as many senators as you think.
No, me either. So
There's
if
only a
12 of
few
them
per
weren't born
province.
here, that's a problem, isn't it? How many 105 senators. So
Yeah.
10% of our senators weren't born in Canada.
And
At
what was
least
the percentage for MPs again? Was it about 15?
it was 8%. It was
Oh, 8.
8% federally. At least 22 of them have citizenship from other countries. CBC News confirms through queries to parliamentarians' offices. That figure does not include MPs and senators who hold citizenship through descent, naturalization, or marriage, which of course would be the category that you fall into. So
Right.
maybe they're already segregating those two, so maybe it would be easy to segregate.
Right. Okay. So they've got citizenship through other means, which is kind of weird. Yeah.
Canadian MPs hold citizenship from various countries, including Afghanistan, Lebanon, Portugal, Poland, Pakistan, Syria, the United States, and the United Kingdom. That dual citizenship would disqualify them from holding office in Australia, where Section 44 of the Constitution bars anyone who is a citizen of a foreign power from sitting in Parliament. Several Australian parliamentarians have been forced to resign, produce documentation, or had their courses sent to the High Court for review, leaving Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull's government without its majority. And say blah, blah, blah. So dual citizens are welcomed in Canada's parliament. In Canada, the only requirements for seeking a seat in the House of Commons are that you're a Canadian citizen, at least 18 years old, and not serving prison sentences of more than 2 years. So you can even be a criminal. I wonder if is that like a consecutive sentence? Could I have a bunch of like 2 years less a day and still get in? I think the deputy leader of the NDP party is in prison right now, actually. So to be a senator in Canada, an individual has to be at least 30 years old, a resident of the province they represent, and own property worth at least $4,000 in that province. Could that be like my truck? Not property, right?
I would say it would have to be. Wouldn't they be specific? Wouldn't it be land, or would they say
Probably
land?
land, yeah. Liberal MP Salma Zaid, who holds Canadian, UK, and Pakistani citizenships, does not judge any other country's rules around who is qualified to serve, but she is proud that Canada's government, which has 338 seats in the House of Commons and 105 in the Senate, reflects its population. That's fine. Can it just, represent people born here? So there's, a list of, here's a quick list of people of MPs and senators that are dual citizens. Conservative Zaid Abulif with Lebanon, Liberal MP Omar Al-Ghabra with Saudi Arabia. That's fine to you? That's just fine? As long as he was born here, it's fine. Liberal MP Faisal Al-Kahuri, Lebanon. Andy Phil.
No. I don't think it's. Yeah, I don't know actually.
A lot of Lebs on here.
Yeah.
Probably the Lebs in the UK are winning. So anyway, that's all right, right? It's just MPs. It's just a small level, except then you go to our this guy here, who was our actually, let's go to this one. Let's go to this one, because this is a little bit older, but we haven't talked about it yet. But this is, exactly what we're talking about. So Sejan, at the time we're talking about a dude who was not fucking born in Canada, who was our Ministry of Defense, who instructed our military to rescue Afghan Sikhs during the fall of Kabul which took resources away from keeping Canadians safe.
Well, supposedly, right? I just don't know about the details of it, right?
It sure sounds well. This is where it gets weird. If it was just some dude born in Canada, we probably wouldn't have to think about that. If our defense minister wasn't named Harjit Sajjan and Sikhs weren't involved, and this guy wasn't a Sikh,
well,
it wouldn't be weird.
And isn't there a whole structure that
muddied the water?
Yeah.
Then Defense Minister Harjit Sajjan instructed Canadian Special Forces to rescue about 225 Afghan Sikhs after the Taliban takeover in August 2021. In an operation that 3 military sources say took resources away from getting Canadian citizens and Afghans linked to Canada on final evacuation flights out of Kabul. Mr. Sajjan also relayed location information and other details about the Sikhs to the military as Special Operations Force and worked out where to meet up with the group. The information was passed to him from a Canadian Sikh group that was in contact with these Afghan Sikhs. Military sources who were in Ottawa and on the ground in Kabul painted a picture of a final chaotic, dangerous, and desperate hours as evacuation flights were ending, and Canada and other Western countries scrambled to get their citizens safely out of Afghanistan by the U.S. withdrawal at the end of August. So, I mean, maybe it's not a big deal, but this guy was our Minister of Defense.
Have you seen this guy's work on it? Mocha Bezergran?
This guy's the Minister of Defense here.
Yeah.
So Harjit G. Singh, Canadian politician, Minister of Defense, and Minister of Emergency Preparedness, and the President of the Privy Council since July 26, 23, was born in Punjab, India, Bombelli, Punjab, India. So, I mean, that kind of goes into that serving thing, doesn't it? I mean, you wouldn't get into this problem if you didn't let people who didn't live here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Have you seen Mocha's work on this? He talking about this Sajan guy here. It says, willing to prioritize non-Canadian Sikhs during the final Kabul evacuation for a few $1,000s in donations to his riding association from the directors of the Manmeet Bhullar Foundation, which falls under and works with Sajan's spread up here with his family, powerful World Sikh organization. How much influence can his own WSO family have over him after donating $100,000 to the Liberal Party, to Trudeau, and to Sajan's riding association? I mean,
that's Did you just have that randomly?
No, I knew he was working on this, so I looked it up.
Oh.
CSIS compromised. Sajan with family ties to Khalistani WSO overseeing CSIS. Questions arise regarding the integrity of CSIS overseen by two ministries, one of which is currently led by Sajan, the son of a former World Sikh Organization executive. So yeah, that's a good point that you're making.